Hey everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Data Driven Value, where we show you the tools and we teach you the skills to take your financial freedom into your own hands. So we're just going to jump right into things today. We'll do a bit of a market update. So taking a look at our macro to start, we see here Bitcoin down on the day. The SPY, Nasdaq, and Dow Jones are all up today, and our iShares Russell 2000 is down. So interesting to see that large cap stocks are actually performing a lot better than the small cap stocks, and also see kind of some weakness in risk assets like Bitcoin alongside the Russell 2000 with those small cap stocks. Dollars just green, barely green. We will look at that in a second. We've got gold green pushing all-time highs as well as silver. TLT down a little bit, but we also see a little bump in the US 10-year here. So just looking at this chart, I want to show you here, we've got the SPY overlaid on the US 10-year. And just looking at it for kind of some guidance as to what may happen in the future, we can kind of see these periods where the SPY goes on these periods of outperformance relative to the 10-year, and it kind of creates a bit of a divergence. So you see here the 10 years coming down while the S&P is rallying above, kind of creating that divergence. Ultimately, it does need to mean revert at some point. So that's what happened right here. It's kind of the reverse. So we have obviously the divergence here. That means we can also have that divergence to the downside, meaning when the 10-year starts rallying, generally we do see a correction kind of in the S&P. So kind of, yeah, we can follow through here. We did have that divergence. Quite a strong period of weakness here where the 10-year was outperforming the S&P, but we do see the S&P has broken above that now. So we're going into another one of these divergences here. I'll just be watching that. Interesting to note, maybe in the future, we'll see how far this can extend, but we may also be looking like kind of on this, do like a flip side move like this. So we might get a bit of an extension, but we could ultimately be due for that reverse divergence kind of there. But just watching that just as a general economic indicator, yeah, if we see the 10-year really rallying, it's generally bad for risk assets like Bitcoin, as well as tech stocks. But we're watching that closely. No major warning signals yet, of course, but yeah, something we want to keep in the back of our minds. Looking at TLT here, this is our 20-year Treasury bond. We were looking at this for a bit of a swing trade potential. I'll just reset my chart a little bit here for you. Taikanashi candles. So yeah, looking here, came down to our support level, bouncing here. We pulled our Fibonacci golden zone. We came just below that 786, so that golden zone I always talk about, and we're looking to get a little bit of support from there. So nice to see we're holding this macro low, but we actually did lose this lower time frame low here. So with TLT, I figure we're probably just in for a bit more consolidation. Risk assets are doing generally quite well right now, so it's understandable to see TLT down at these ranges. But again, something we're monitoring just as a potential hedge or swing trade for a risk off type environment. We can move over to gold here. Gold pushing all-time highs. You see it's just shy of its all-time high, about $50 shy. Looks really good on the low time frame. We're in a big technical uptrend. Yeah, same here. Nice breakout, retest, continue up. So again, looks like we're rejecting a little bit right here. We can take a look at our momentum indicators. We do see here MACD a little overbought, and the RSI also a little overbought, kind of curling back down. So we're probably due again just for a little retracement in gold. I would follow this trend line here. So we could just see gold kind of come back to this trend line and then hopefully get a bounce and keep continuing up. However, one thing to note, generally when gold is outperforming, it's not a good sign for risk on assets like Bitcoin, because generally people are when gold's pumping, they're rotating their other assets to gold for that flight to safety. So something to watch. Interesting to see gold basically pushing all-time highs alongside Bitcoin at all-time highs. And also simultaneously, we've got the SPY here also pushing all-time highs. But something we're watching, we see, right at the all-time high. So we'll see either we break out and we're able to back test it as support and hopefully continue up from there. Otherwise, we might see a bit of a lower high rejection here, in which case we're going to look. We've got a daily gap fill right here. And then we've also got a larger support zone just down here, kind of sub $600. So ideally, to continue up for the next couple quarters, we want to see a bounce. The higher the better. So the most bullish case, we break out past the all-time highs, retest those, bounce, and then we have those as support now. Alternatively, we come down and maybe we see some of these lower entries down here, in which case, yeah, we'd be looking for that bounce. Otherwise, this would be the low we really want to watch. If we come back down and break this low, then we are at risk of kind of changing trend in the near term or the near future. So we'll just be watching that and kind of letting the price action play out. Obviously, we're in resistance right now, so we're not going to be buying or actively looking to kind of trade this. Instead, let the price action play out, find our levels, and then we'll go from there. Taking a look over at Bitcoin, actually look at the dollar quickly. Another one I kind of been showing you lately. So we do see here came up into our golden zone, rejected in that kind of low time frame technical downtrend. We have seemed it's about a double bottom here, so technically we still could continue up if we do take a look at the higher time frame. So it is oversold on the low time frame as well as this higher time frame. So not ideal again for risk assets to see the dollar and gold and the 10-year all kind of going up as well. Yeah, something we're watching as well. Looking for that cycle top of the dollar kind of here, maybe 111 at that 786. Alternatively, we could see a double top type scenario kind of up towards 115. But moving over to Bitcoin now. Again, Bitcoin doing well. We looked at it the other day, kind of broke out of here. It's currently retesting this horizontal support zone right here. RSI is a little neutral, but it's curled back down, so not the most bullish setup there with the RSI. We can kind of zoom into the 4 hour and see what it looks like on the low time frame. So yeah, we see here we've broken out. We retested this trend line as support twice, and then we're now also retesting this zone as support. So Bitcoin looks good from here. It does need to take out this high right here to resume a potential uptrend. But once we get that, then we've just got the new all-time high here at 109.5. So looking for something like this to kind of play out. Something like that that's the most bullish case scenario. Alternatively, if we do see a broader market dump, I would watch for something, again, just coming back and retesting this support line here, maybe getting a bounce from there. You might get a decent little swing position here. But yeah, just watching Bitcoin looks good. Nice little bounce from there. Yeah, a little bit of uncertainty kind of in the markets right now. Luckily, we did get a few more bullish announcements regarding kind of Bitcoin and crypto from the new administration. So yeah, definitely good to see the new administration a lot more crypto friendly, Bitcoin friendly. But there are some other things we will talk about kind of later in the video when we touch on some of the news. But yeah, Bitcoin looks good for now. Yeah, would like to see this bounce continue and then yeah, print that continued uptrend structure. Moving over, we'll take a look at, I want to take a look at miners just because we talked about those the other day. So they opened up pretty red for the day. Iris Energy, they actually opened a $1 billion at market equity program, so an ATM program. It will be dilutive in nature when they do utilize that program. But with Iris Energy, it's important to note that all of their prior dilution has been accretive to the growth of the company. They've essentially scaled their company far faster than any peers. Like even the second closest peer behind them, they were scaling at twice the speed and twice the capacity. So yeah, definitely expect Iris Energy to use these funds accretively. Also, they're not going to be raising $1 billion at once, so it's not like they're just going to dilute their whole company by $1 billion. That just gives them the leeway to kind of raise up to that amount. And yeah, it doesn't have to be done all at once, and it doesn't have to be exercised at all anyways. So kind of just gives them the flexibility to really take advantage of any kind of opportunity that comes up in terms of acquisitions. We do see here with a Bitcoin price of 100K, their adjusted EBITDA is expected to be 716 million at 50 exahash and 826 million at 57 exahash. So right now, Iris is at about a $54.7 million EBITDA. So that's like almost a 15 times increase on their EBITDA. by the time they get to their hash rate goals. I do expect them to meet these goals well ahead of time, just as they did last year. It's basically been the best company in terms of fast and consistent growth, as well as outperforming the timelines that they're giving. So, yeah, interesting. We will watch them going forward, but expect the same kind of use of funds from management. We see here also they're implementing direct to chip liquid cooling systems in their data centers. This accommodates the NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, which are going to be are the most in demand GPUs for AI infrastructure. They're also advancing their 1400 megawatt Sweetwater project, scheduled for energization in April 2026. So again, I expect them to be well ahead of their schedule here. They do like to under promise and over deliver. That's kind of why I like Irish Energy. Again, they just always outperform on their growth, whereas a lot of miners kind of underperform. We also see they're developing a multi-gigawatt data center pipeline, securing land, negotiating new interconnection agreements. They've got an industry-leading fleet efficiency of less than 15 joules per terahash, as well as some of the lowest power costs in the industry as well. So really like Irish Energy. Their strategy is different than some of the other ones. They don't hodl any Bitcoin. They just sell it as it comes in to fund their operations. But yeah, interesting to see here. They will have access to an additional $1 billion to capitalize on some additional acquisitions or continued build out of facilities. And yeah, we'll expect those funds to be used creatively just as they have in the past. So we can see a few notes here. Expansion to 57 exahash by the second half of 2025. Their goal is 50 exahash by the first half, which would be a 20 exahash increase from their current hash rate. So to only expect 7 exahash from them in the second half of 2025, I think that's a little bit of a sandbag number there. Again, they like to under promise and over deliver, so I kind of think that's what they're doing. And then obviously we've got the development of the new 1400 megawatt Sweetwater project, their Childress project, which will be finished in 2025. And then we also see that they have a multi-gigawatt pipeline. So really interesting to look at as a potential, both as a Bitcoin miner and as a potential AI host. They have expressed interest in it, and they do have the capacity to host a large-scale AI operation. They also do have current HPC revenues, so they're not brand new to the AI HPC space. They're currently earning revenue, but they want to make sure they're getting the best kind of deal terms for the energy, because they don't want to rush into an agreement and then kind of have it come back and bite them in the butt later on. Maybe they could have got more value out of their assets. But again, yeah, the potential dilution of $1 billion, that's really what investors kind of spooked investors yesterday. We did see here, we saw it was about a 10% decline. So we opened up, quick, sharp drop of 10%. We've actually recovered that already. Irish Energy, again, higher than it was when that news broke. So obviously, all the retail investors who haven't been here that long, they got spooked out of their positions here. And then the smart investors, I always say these dilution events sometimes offer good buying opportunities, especially in companies with strong fundamentals. And Irish Energy, I believe, does have some of the strongest fundamentals as a Bitcoin miner. So yeah, we've seen the market. Obviously, they've digested the news and they are bullish on Irish Energy again. They've bought it up, a nice green big candle there, kind of taking out this one here. We did see we came just below our first level of interest, and we're back above that. So if you did get a little nibble on Irish Energy, you're sitting in profit already. But yeah, we'll just continue watching this one. But yeah, interesting to note, Irish Energy does have that ATM kind of on the front. So we'll watch them going forward. If we do get some knee-jerk reactions kind of similar to what we saw here by the market, they'll just provide more buying opportunities, in my opinion. I do think Irish Energy will go on to continue growing over the next few years and becoming quite a dominant force in both AI and Bitcoin mining. We'll go back, take a look here at some of our other miners. So we see Riot up 4 point. We'll take a look at all our miners actually. We'll WGMI first. Again, so we targeted our 618. We've broken out and we've got that higher low rate here. So looking good, bouncing from here at our bull market support band. I think miners are good to just keep kind of grinding up here until we get to that definitive breakout move. We see Mara Another one, again, came down to our value zone. So if you nibbled a little bit, obviously, you're sitting at a little bit of profit right now. Yeah, it's probably look pretty similar across the board. I think a few of our minor entries did fill. Riot didn't quite fill where we wanted it to. That's all right. That's part of the game. Clean Spark, yeah, came down, tagged our zone, got a couple entries there, and yeah, that higher low, and we're good to just continue that uptrend structure. Cypher, again, yeah, came down, higher low, bull market support band, looking good. A lot of this is going to look pretty similar across the board. Even Bitfarms like is holding that low there. Unfortunately, so we will see. This is just a bear flag kind of consolidation. So we'll see what happens here with Bitfarms. I'm not really interested in buying them too much personally right now. Kind of just focusing capital elsewhere. Hive chart looks very similar to Bitfarms. I just think there's a bit more fundamental value in Hive as opposed to Bitfarms, just due kind of to their assets. Here, see Hut, yeah, Hut came down, just missed our first kind of value zone here, unfortunately. Again, see if I drag it across, yeah, just by a little bit. So missed it by about 20, not even like 15 cents, and that's why I kind of talk about a margin of error sometimes. When you draw these support zones, and price comes within like a fraction of a percent, and you want a position in that stock, don't be afraid to make those buys a little bit higher than what your zone is. Obviously, we're not going to be chasing it up here, but we're not going to be pinching pennies down here because the end goal is a lot higher. So I kind of like to say you don't want to miss dollars by pinching pennies. So just being a little lenient on these zones. Yeah, just coming in within a fraction of a percent, that's going to be negligible in the long run. So it is a valid place to buy. We are seeing a little bit of support from there, so we'll just watch that one going forward. And then again, Iris Energy, we touched on doing the best today, up almost double digits. Yeah, markets reacting, digesting that news well. Wolf, another one, came to the bottom of our support zone and it's bouncing from there. So another good short-term entry on Wolf for us. We see Core Scientific here. Yeah, again, from that bull market support band, continuing higher, tagged our zone right here. Nice little back test of this breakout. Cores looks really good, taking out this high. So again, we're just going to wait. We're going to see if this comes back down again. We'll pull another Fibonacci and look to get another entry in kind of the zone down here. But cores looks good. Bit digital, not really catching a bid today, down a little bit. Unfortunately, wasn't able to break this high. So kind of similar structure to Bitfarms and Hive. Also interesting to note that the small cap miners coin or charts are all kind of looking a little similar. We see Coinbase here again bounced from our bull market support band, took out this high, and is just holding it right now. There is quite a bit of resistance and support kind of through here. So we'll see what happens. Either it just continues and gets rejected and we consolidate here. We look for an entry down there. Otherwise, again, you know the play. Wait for the breakout, wait for the back test, and we're in on the back test and riding that trend up to higher highs. MicroStrategy down a little bit on the day. Again, another one that we looked at, beautiful kind of downtrend breakout, came here, back test this support, and it could continue up from here. This isn't the strongest support. I would also look kind of at the Fibonacci level on the low time frame. And then maybe you're looking for a bit of an entry kind of down here at the 340 and lower range. Yeah, something like that. So high risk entry. If you did believe the market low is in, right now is not the worst. We're kind of in that technical uptrend. But as a kind of technical analyst, I'm just looking at this lower support zone. You can kind of see the bull market support band here. We also have this horizontal support, which lines up with a little gap fill here. So we're watching that. We've got quite a bit of confluence of maybe we see that the bull market support band keeps going up this way, and then we kind of get some confluence with this support zone, come back here, tag this, and then we still have that higher low structure and we're able to continue higher. So that's kind of my most probable case for MicroStrategy, unless Bitcoin just starts ripping to the upside and then all bets are off and all these proxies will probably go up with it. We see Square, another one here. It does look to be rejecting a little slowdown of the momentum indicators here. Not quite able to break out as well as some of its other peers. So I still think, yeah, we're just in this technical downtrend. I think maybe we just come back and retest at least the bull market support band and try and print that higher low, similar to some of these other companies. Otherwise, we might be looking at a Fibonacci retracement level of approximately, yeah, came back to this low, so $80. If we do go down to $75, we are also in that continued downtrend structure. So that's something to watch. Not really interested in a position on Square at this time. So kind of looking at the potential two scenarios, most bullish, come down, bounce from the bull market support band, breakout, retest, continue higher. The next, more bearish, would kind of be continued rejection, break of the lows, back up, and then we would just have to find that bottom structure somewhere down here before we're able to reverse that. So just watching that. If Square comes down to these levels down here, so we might look at a swing position in Square kind of there, and then perhaps this support down here. Sorry about that. Yeah, watching Square anywhere from about $70 up to $80 might be a decent little swing entry for Square. But moving on, we'll take a look at Galaxy. This is kind of an interesting one. They're kind of like MicroStrategy. They're like a mix of MicroStrategy and the miners. They have various different revenue streams. I believe they are diversifying into AI HPC. They've got mining facilities. Those they got a lot of assets under management. So it's been a very hot company rate lately. Sorry about that. Breaking out past these highs. And then again, so the highest risk swing trade potential would be kind of in this region here from about 3150 down to about 3050. Yeah, coming back, testing that as support, and then continuing up from there. A more probable kind of area of better value, in my opinion, is kind of, yeah, that's about $28 down to about $27. We do have confluence of the Fibonacci zone with this upsloping trend line. We also do see that there's quite a bit of kind of support through here. But yeah, I'll be looking for kind of a swing potential entry on Galaxy in this region here. We might also look in this region here, kind of depending how the market structure looks at the time. But always remember, this is a higher risk level than this one down here. So just keeping that in mind. Take a look at DMGI as well. Yeah, still in that technical downtrend structure, broke the lows. So not really interested in DMGI right now until it is kind of more convincingly bottomed. Take a look over here. I'm gonna look. So we just had some news actually. Pull it up here. So World Liberty Finance. This is Trump's company here. We see to commemorate the inauguration of Trump. They announced the following strategic purchases today. They bought $47 million of Ethereum, $47 million of wrapped Bitcoin. So that's not actually Bitcoin. It's essentially just Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. It just represents Bitcoin and it's pegged to Bitcoin's value. But important to note, they didn't buy actual Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of Bitcoin maxis probably weren't super happy because you wouldn't catch any of them buying wrapped Bitcoin. Kind of defeats the purpose of buying the Bitcoin and kind of supporting the network effect there. But still interesting to note nonetheless. We also see they bought about $5 million in Aave, Link, TRX, and ENA. So this is TRX is Tron. It's a really popular currency in Asia. It's one of the most used. Link is a big currency here. It's the largest oracle, so it handles a lot of data and data sharing kind of between a lot of different cryptos. It's also kind of speculated that Link's going to be a huge player kind of in the RWA narrative going forward. So that's like real world assets. Kind of as we start to see more and more real world assets being tokenized on the blockchain, we're going to see RWA tokens really start to kind of not outperform, let's say, but they should do very well. Kind of the more, obviously, the more real world adoption takes place, the more that these tokens will perform very well. So you've got Aave here, and then yeah, we've got Athena. So just kind of taking a look at these, because we talked about it earlier, the America First crypto kind of the America First Crypto Strategic Reserve. So we do see here, obviously, these ones are the first additions to that reserve. No actual announcement from Trump or the administration. It's all done through this World Liberty Finance. So yeah, people were expecting a strategic Bitcoin reserve right out of the gate. We didn't get it, but this is better than nothing. But interesting to see the coins that they are prioritizing. If we do move over here, so I'll take a look. So I got my US based cryptos. I also have the link of a Ethereum name service and TRX. So obviously Tron's doing all right today, but yeah, the other three not doing very well, down a little bit. Solana's pumping still. XRP is up. Solana was a good one. We were watching this one for that downtrend, came back to our support zone here, Fibonacci, and has continued up. So yeah, watching that, potentially go attack these highs here next. XRP bouncing again, came down, just missed our support zone very minutely. Again, that's that margin of error I talk about. So yeah, watching that, I think we do keep continuing up higher. There is speculation of ETF applications kind of coming in. So Solana has an ETF application that the decision should be made soon. I would say XRP is a likely candidate for an ETF. Link could be a good candidate, as well as ADA. So any kind of the more well-known US cryptos are decent candidates going forward for potential ETF applications or approvals. Litecoin could be one as well, but we will just move along to some other crypto. One thing I want to look at here is virtual, because we did look at this and we took a trade the other day in one of I think it was the last video, it might have been the video before that, but this is essentially what I was looking at with virtual. So really hot performer. Came all the way up here. We came back. We saw our high time frame golden zone retracement. So this is where we bought a spot position. And then we saw that we pumped up, broke out of this downtrend. So we pulled our low time frame Fibonacci, and then we got our swing position right here. So with the swing position, I'm gonna have a stop loss just here, kind of below these lows. My spot position, I'm just gonna hold that. I'm not really worried about cutting that. But the swing position was just kind of to take advantage of any near-term pumps here. We did get a bit of a relief rally off the lows of about 20%, 22%, to the highs even. It was about 27%. So a nice little move by virtual here. It does look like we're going to be coming down a little bit, but maybe we just come back down, retest here, and then we can kind of keep continuing up. So yeah, we're holding our swing position for now. If price comes down to about $2.10, we might cut the swing position just in case of the continued downtrend. And then we would just be looking to add to our spot position, probably at the 786 at the $1.50 level. That's kind of how I'm going to play that. Again, we wait for that continued uptrend structure, and then we keep riding these positions, or we wait for the breakdown and back to our key levels like the 786 and 618. We can take a look here at Litecoin. Litecoin's another one I thought might be a decent candidate for ETF. It's just very well known and quite an old crypto. We do see here, kind of riding this wedge here, has come back down, tagged our 618 retracement here, but we weren't able to take out any highs. So it is in a bit of a low time frame bull or bear flag structure. I will just be watching this. And yeah, we just want to make sure we're not breaking down below this support. If we break below this support on the low time frame, I think maybe we come back down and test these 786 levels before we come up. It's still a valid retracement and a good swing entry just due to this long downtrend breakout. Otherwise, again, we just wait for us to kind of come up and keep attacking. Well, let's see here. We've got trend there, kind of there. So yeah, we come up here. Not a lot of room to move up, so we weren't looking for a position right now. Instead, again, we'd wait for the breakout and the retest, entering on the retest. Yeah, always waiting for confirmation of the trend just to ensure that we aren't getting caught on the wrong end of trades. It still can happen at the end of the day, so important to manage our risks. We see here Tron doing very well in this uptrend here, and then we see a little bit of rejection. We might just be due for a little pullback. I see Tron come back to kind of that sub 24 cent down to about 23 cent level. Link, I think we looked at Link. Yeah, so I'm going to look at some of the other performers here. So obviously Solana's done very well, is broken out. We do have our low time frame Fibonacci, so we'll just drag that up for now. If we do see price kind of come back under 250, that might be a decent little short-term swing trade to capitalize on further upside on Solana. Obviously, dominance down a little bit, so that's good to see for the altcoins. But we are still holding this downtrend breakout. So yeah, definitely can't assume that the dominance top is definitely in right now. I would say it's likely in. We could just continue pushing back up to this kind of lower high or double top structure. So yeah, watching dominance, it's definitely oversold on the high time frame, but on the low time frame, yeah, it's looking a little weaker. So I want to see that kind of continue to break down. Yeah, watching that. So yeah, making sure we don't see a bounce here from that bull market support band. If dominance bounces from here, we're likely going to continue up, and it's going to mean kind of some pain for altcoins in the near term. Otherwise, we could just kind of come back into this consolidation. That would be the most bullish for altcoins, in my opinion. But just kind of based on the momentum indicators, it does look like it could make another move up here. So just another one we're watching. We're not overexposing ourselves in altcoins. We're just kind of buying the ones that we want to position ourselves in for the remainder of the cycle. And then, yeah, looking at this, the opportunistic levels to purchase those at. Looking at Ethereum here. So yeah, we did kind of got rejected again in this downtrend. So still in consolidation between this downsloping trend line and this support zone here, holding above that Fibonacci retracement here. So still looking good. Again, just consolidating. I feel like ETH is just waiting here. We just want to get a definitive breakout and bounce and continued uptrend structure. But until we actually see that, we're just going to assume we have continued consolidation. Taking a look, total three. Let's look at others dominance. So others dominance, we broke down out of this wedge, back tested it. We did kind of get rejected here. We could still see this in an uptrend on the low time frame, but we do see the RSI and the MACD on the 4-hour are looking a little oversold. So just watching this, again, we're in that technical downtrend on the lower time frame, meaning that alts are likely to kind of underperform until we can reverse that trend and go the other way. Taking a look at Doge. So another one, Doge, is actually a pretty good looking one right now. We do see we're right at this. See how we have confluence? This is our high time frame 618 level here. And then when I get rid of it, you're going to see underneath it, I've got a low time frame 618 level as well from this rally. So right where we're at right now, that 618 is actually confluence of the two golden zones. We look like we're bouncing right from here. RSI MACD look good on the 4-hour. I would say Doge is a decent one. If you're looking for alt positions right now, Doge could be a good swing position here, assuming these lows and these lows hold. If I were to enter Doge, I would be looking at putting a stop loss kind of down here, just in case, because if we do hit this level, this is kind of what I'm looking at, is just, again, that continued downtrend structure. So it's just something we want to watch. You could enter right now. It is a bit riskier, but again, at a decent technical level here on the low time frame, as well as kind of on the slightly higher time frame, with a stop loss at about 32 cents, protecting that position. Taking a look at Pepe here. So again, kind of bouncing here on this higher low. We do want to see it continue. But yeah, nothing really actionable right now. We want to see the higher low definitively print, and then we'll see where we go from there. Kind of a few others. Let's take a look at So yeah, held our support zone, but we are now contesting this upsloping trend line. So we could just get rejected, and then it would be a lower high, and then we just come back and retest this zone again. So one we're watching. Ondo, another one. So Ondo, again, beautiful example of it coming down to our 618 Fibonacci. We got a bounce. We got a little rally here. And then we are going in this consolidation. So look for that higher low bounce off the bull market support band with confluence of the 618. Could be indicative of a continued uptrend for Ondo, in which case it might offer a good swing entry. We can look at Pith here. Pith, yeah, so when we did watch kind of breaking down from this level here, still in that technical downtrend. So again, we want to break these highs first and then get in on the higher low. Until then, I just see a downtrend. We can take a look at Injective. This has been kind of another one I really like. We are sitting right in that high time frame or higher time frame Fibonacci golden zone. So we can see we had this long downtrend breakout. Flip to the weekly. See that? Yeah, long downtrend, broke out here, higher low, Fibonacci retracement. So looking really good. I say Injective is actually a decent buy here. Kind of, again, I did kind of outline the risk with others' dominance. So if we see altcoins and risk assets take a bit of a dump, no alts are really going to be safe. So just keep in mind if you are entering here, it's going to be slightly higher risk than if we were buying down here at this heavy support zone. So this would be a bit of a swing position, whereas this might be a cycle accumulation position. Let's move on to Adam's getting a bit of relief today, so we'll take a look at that. Adam looks good actually too. We do see here on the high time frame that higher low holding bouncing from the bull market support band right now. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So a lot of the times you want to take a look at these coins on their Bitcoin pairs because you want to, again, we've talked about how we want to outperform Bitcoin going forward, not underperform it. The whole point of altcoins is the outperformance. So we see here, this is the current low on the high time frame for its Bitcoin pair. So holding slightly higher low. Yeah, we want to see that kind of start to come up. And then when we get into an alt season, we're going to see these ratios really start to rocket up. So kind of positioning ourselves for that inevitable pump, but again, waiting for that higher low and confirmation. Moving on, I'll take a look at Arrow. Arrow's another one I'm interested in. Yeah, sitting here, we're at some confluence of this support zone here, but we will zoom into the low time frame. So from the high time frame, it's a decent accumulation. From the low time frame, we can see here that we're sitting, yeah, right at that 618, bit of a technical downtrend on the low time frame. So we do have the opportunity to come back here, kind of sub $1 for Arrow, but decent buy there for a swing position, in my opinion, just kind of, yeah, at a decent level. But we don't have confirmation of that bottom yet. So again, this is a lot higher risk. Sometimes what I like to do is break up a position between a couple levels. So I might enter half my position at the 618 and half my position at the 786, and then I end up with a nice adjusted cost basis right in the middle. Moving on, take a look at WIF here. So just looking at a bunch of different coins, some ones that are kind of showing a bit of strength today. Again, we've got that higher low, our size really oversold, holding support here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin pair. So here, yeah, again, holding that slightly higher low. We just want to see that continuing up. But yeah, it's looking good there. Another one. Let's take a look at, how about Render? Render, another AI coin. I'm kind of in a bull flag here after bouncing from our support zone. Yeah, we'll watch this. Ideally, short-term entry on the Fibonacci, kind of back again on the upper end of this support zone, riding it back up to that trend line. Otherwise, we might see this kind of come up to the trend line, in which case our entry is going to be somewhere around here, but we'll pull that as the time comes. Moving on, let's take a look at Near. So this is a kind of an AI-related L1. Looking here, again, just a bit of a wedge. Looks, yeah, nothing look great, crazy right now or anything. Holding that higher low structure in this wedge. Again, we want to see this kind of play out, getting in on that higher low, confirmed breakout. Otherwise, we could just come here, break through, retest, and continue down. So yeah, really just emphasizing the couple different scenarios that might play out and the positions that might be an option when those do play out. I'll take a look at Caspa. Caspa, yeah, came down here, Beautiful bounce from our golden zone. Retested the 618, bounced from there, holding the higher lows. Again, we want to see this high taken out here, and then we could see another kind of retest of support and continued uptrend. So watching Caspa there for that kind of move. Um, Yes, it's kind of like there's not a lot going on in the markets right now. A lot of coins are kind of coming into resistance or breaking down below support. So there are definitely some solid performers today, in which case it might be good to kind of focus on those. Take a look at those charts. We did touch on a few of them, but kind of, yeah, really looking at the coins that outperform Bitcoin on days where Bitcoin shows weakness kind of might give you a bit of an idea of the coins that will really outperform when Bitcoin shows a lot of strength. So we'll also take a look, obviously, we'll go to our crypto risk indicators. Sorry about that. We see summary here. So just the one I want to touch on is social metrics we looked at the other day. We've had quite a big uptick again. So kind of pushing the social metrics up, and then our on-chain metrics and our price metrics have risen slightly as well. So we're kind of middle risk, factoring the three together for the cycle right now. But yeah, we will be watching this closely because this kind of shows you the new market entrants. Generally, they come in and they need to look up all the information, and they go to YouTube and they go to Twitter and all the other socials. So we'll watch the social metrics. It's really a good kind of understanding of the mania phase and seeing kind of the influx of new market participants. As well, we always have our Bitcoin price metrics risk table and our on-chain metrics risk table that we'll be watching as well. Kind of as more and more of these indicators start to show warning signs, we might look at kind of scaling out of the markets or trying to take profits where it makes the most sense. Moving on, we'll take a little bit of look at some news here. So we see OpenAI announcing the Stargate project. Initially intends to invest $500 billion over 4 years building new AI infrastructure in the United States. We'll begin deploying $100 billion immediately. It'll secure American leadership in AI, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and generate massive economic benefit. We also see here the initial equity funders in Stargate are SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX. SoftBank and OpenAI are the lead partners. SoftBank has the financial responsibility, and OpenAI has the operational responsibility. We also see ARM, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, and OpenAI are the key initial technology partners. Build out is currently underway, starting in Texas, evaluating potential sites across the country for more. And then obviously we also see Oracle, NVIDIA, and OpenAI will closely collaborate to build and operate this computing system. Builds on their deep collaboration already. We also see here, it also builds on existing OpenAI partnership with Microsoft. So yeah, interesting to see. There's hundreds of billions of dollars coming into AI, likely going to be trillions as time goes on and more people announce it. So that's kind of why we like the Bitcoin miners, is they capture a bit of that AI potential as well. Going forward here, a little bit of Bitcoin mining news. We see Bitcoin mining saved Texas $18 billion and boosted their grid stability. So you'll see a lot of people saying how Bitcoin mining is bad for the community and they take power away from the people, which is actually not the case whatsoever. We see here a new research report by Digital Assets Research Institute revealed how Bitcoin mining has impacted the Texas electrical grid and saved the state as much as $18 billion by eliminating the need for new gas peaker plants. Findings come as Texas has grappled with extreme weather conditions in recent years, including a 2021 winter storm that caused widespread blackouts and economic losses. Grid operators previously relied on gas peaker plants to address electricity demand. While effective in short bursts, these plants are costly and remain idle for the majority of the year and emit substantial greenhouse gases. So we also see here that ERCOT, the Electrical Reliability Council of Texas, sought alternatives to the traditional gas peaker plants. So because of the excess greenhouse gases and because they have to remain idle for much of the year, it's kind of just wasted energy, wasted money. So we see here they looked for alternatives following the devastation of that winter storm, determined that Bitcoin mining could actually help balance the electricity demand and supply to prevent further blackouts. It actually eliminated the need for Berkshire Hathaway to build, they're going to build $10 billion worth of new gas peaker plants. And we actually saw Bitcoin miners come in and kind of take over this function. So didn't need Berkshire Hathaway to come in and throw their money building these plants that would just sit there for 90% of the year and then emit costly and deadly greenhouse gases. Again, we see the gas peaker plants criticized for inefficiencies and their contribution to greenhouse gases while sitting idle for most of the year, releasing hundreds of thousands of tons of carbon dioxide. Bitcoin mining offers a cleaner, more cost-effective solution where miners operate continuously and generate revenue while remaining able to reduce energy consumption when needed during peak demand. It also allows them to enable electrical grids to incorporate more renewable energy sources like wind and solar. So a lot of these Bitcoin miners use a combination of gas, wind, solar, hydro, whatever they can get for the cheapest cost is essentially what they kind of want to have. So a lot more sources of energy available with the Bitcoin miners, as well as at better cost and more effective in terms of utilization throughout the year. Another thing is that Bitcoin miners they pay a lot in local taxes to a lot of the jurisdictions that they operate in, so they are contributing a lot to the actual economies of all these places that they're operating in. We do see here, yeah, you go underutilized due to their intermittency and energy production. So, yeah, interesting. Traditional gas peaker plants idle most of the year, used when they're necessary, very polluting to the environment. We definitely see Bitcoin miners as a more favorable option to kind of play that role going forward. And we have seen miners like Riot and CleanSpark and others who actually do curtail to make sure that people have their power on during these times of high stress, making sure that schools, hospitals, and the communities are supported through these times. So there is a lot of benefit to having Bitcoin mining kind of adjacent to a community or within a community. Unfortunately, there is a lot of FUD, so fear, uncertainty, and doubt from mainstream media kind of regarding Bitcoin miners. But yeah, a lot of this has kind of been debunked through various studies over the years. The ERCOT peer-reviewed studies confirmed its positive impact on grid stability. So there you have it. Bitcoin miners, not as bad for the grid as some people will like to tell you. Then another one, this is a perfect example right here. So we did notice there was a little slowdown in CleanSpark's production over the last 2 days. So nothing alarming, and obviously we see here as an ordinary function, CleanSpark worked with utilities to curtail if and when necessary to support critical circuits. So we see here they generally on average curtail about 100 hours per year, so nothing really in the grand scheme of thing. And then by temporarily disrupting their hash rate, they're actually able to make sure that places like schools and hospitals stay online and people have power. Yeah, so really, it's great to see these companies prioritizing the communities over the actual extra profit from that day of Bitcoin mining. It's kind of what we want to see going forward. We want to have a nice symbiotic relationship between the miners and the communities that they're working within. So moving on, yeah, again, we touched here on the World Finance or World Liberty Finance. So just be watching them to see if they add any new tokens. Otherwise, we'll just be watching these tokens as well as other American-made cryptos and seeing if we can't find some good entries in them. Obviously, they must think that these tokens are going to perform well going forward. Otherwise, I don't know why they would invest in those first, even ahead of Solana. Kind of that was the most anticipated one. I think people probably really assumed we would see like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana reserve kind of thing announced on day one, but decent little start, better than nothing. Not ideal again with the wrap Bitcoin, but I kind of digressed about that. And then lastly, we see another bullish news for kind of crypto and Bitcoin is the SEC unveils a new task force to start work on crypto regulations. So previously, the SEC's their strategy was to just sue everyone, so regulation by enforcement. The new task force aims to create clear crypto regulatory framework and to reverse previous SEC crypto crackdown. Industry leaders welcome the move towards regulatory clarity. It's what they've been asking for years. It's a little ridiculous that the SEC wasn't able to provide them any clarity before. So now we've got this new task force, help commission draw clear regulatory lines, provide realistic paths, create sensible disclosure frameworks, and deploy enforcement resources judiciously. So we also see Uyeda and Hester Pierce, sorry if I pronounced that first name wrong, poised to kickstart the crypto policy overhaul, including by including by beginning the rulemaking process, expected to soon issue executive orders as well that might lessen the regulatory scrutiny of the crypto industry. So we are encouraged by this meaningful step towards real policy solutions and ending the regulation by enforcement era of the past. So yeah, really good to see. Kind of, we're not going into the same. We'll just sue everyone who tries to get into crypto. We're not going to give them any kind of clarity, and we're just going to attack you if you try to enter this space. So expect to see further advancements on that going forward, and we'll be watching it. But that's really all there is. Covered a little bit of news, covered some charts, as well as some of the positions that we entered. So thank you for joining me today. If you found anything of interest or you learned something new, please like, share, subscribe. It means the world to me. And until next time, have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.